as a longtime fan of the Caped Crusader, I must say that Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy stands out as a remarkable achievement in the world of superhero cinema. Having grown up watching various interpretations of Batman, from the campy 60s TV series to the dark and gritty animated shows, Nolan's Gotham felt like a breath of fresh air that finally captured the essence of the character in a way that resonated with me. Christopher Nolan's series revolutionized the portrayal of Batman, introducing aspects that remain unmatched in subsequent adaptations. Known for his enduring presence in pop culture, numerous actors have donned the cape and cowl in live action, while many directors have attempted to bring the Caped Crusader to life on the big screen. Yet, few have managed to replicate the acclaim that Christopher Nolan garnered with his Dark Knight trilogy. Uh, the way Christopher Nolan envisioned and carried out his three-movie Batman adaptation stands as a remarkable milestone within the realm of superhero films. Not only did the Dark Knight trilogy significantly reshape the genre, but it skillfully reinvented its source material with creativity and rich thematic layers. Here are 10 unique aspects that exclusively characterize Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. So it would be 10 clearly depicted the moral sacrifices of Batman. Nolan made Batman less than a hero, but more than a vigilante. In the Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher Nolan crafted a unique portrayal of morality for his hero that other adaptations often avoid exploring. Unlike many other versions where Batman leans towards being a protector of Gotham City, the Dark Knight films delved into a more complex and morally ambiguous version of Batman. Rather than showing him as a straightforward vigilante or idealistic hero, the trilogy maintained its lead character in a limbo between these two roles. In this narrative, Batman found himself grappling with challenging ethical dilemmas. For instance, he resorted to breaching the privacy of Gotham's inhabitants in pursuit of their safety and accepted responsibility for murders to shield Harvey Dent's reputation. These actions carry significant weight throughout the Dark Knight trilogy as they portray Batman less as a traditional hero and more as a man striving to do what is it, right? So I think by presenting a Batman who believes that the ends can sometimes justify the means, the Dark Knight trilogy explored an intriguing concept. Nine broke Batman's greatest rule in a unique way. The Dark Knight's Batman tries not to kill, but it's not a strict rule. In my opinion, what sets Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy apart from other Batman adaptations is its nuanced interpretation of Batman's no killing rule. Unlike some versions that either rigidly uphold this principle or discard it altogether, Nolan chose a more intriguing path. And throughout the trilogy, Batman doesn't directly take lives, but he does permit numerous characters to meet their end through his inaction. And a unique twist, instead of Batman himself killing his adversaries, Nolan's version allowed people to think he was a murderer by accepting blame for Two-Face's crimes, which went against his usual promise not to take lives. Which doesn't promise the crime size we met with, we turned back into 18, a certain feeling about 10% considering a couple of edges that the Dark Knight's villains were all masters of misdirection. In many outstanding Batman tales, his well-known enemies play a crucial role. Batman has an impressive collection of adversaries in comic books, and Nolan's trilogy brought several of them to life on film. Then what made Nolan's films stand out was not only the adaptation of these villains, but also how they employed one or more of Batman's significant tactics against him. The unique feature of Batman's character, encompassing his double identity and reliance on dramatic deceit, has always been prominent. Interestingly, the antagonists in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy adopted similar strategies. Characters like Ducard, Ra's al Ghul, the Joker, Bonnet, Scarecrow, Two-Face, all used double identities. This allowed the villains in Nolan's trilogy to align thematically with Batman, thereby enhancing the complexity and richness of his movies, and used several different genres to tell Batman stories. The Dark Knight trilogy took interesting thematic approaches. Nolan's distinctive style in his Batman trilogy was evident in how each movie appeared to subtly fit into a different genre. And although it's built around one of the most iconic comic book characters, the Dark Knight trilogy actually consisted of films that were quite distinct from typical superhero movies. Instead, they delved into themes and concepts common in various popular film genres, culminating in an exceptional narrative journey for the Dark Knight. And in a distinctive and captivating way, Christopher Nolan's Batman series showcased a variety of themes, from fear and hints of horror in Batman Begins, crime thriller elements as heist scenes, and Gotham's criminal underworld in The Dark Knight, to traditional action, sci-fi, and apocalyptic ideas in The Dark Knight Rises. This thematic diversity made Nolan's Batman stories stand out. And that also has 6 couple and precisions. Again, the dramatic author, that the new class who seemed to the balance between Batman and Bruce Wayne is perfectly struck. One way to rephrase the given text in a natural and easy to read manner is throughout his 3 movie series, Nolan skillfully maintained an equilibrium between the Bruce Wayne and Batman characters. He emphasized Batman's human aspect equally with his heroic side, resulting in a more relatable and humane portrayal compared to other adaptations. This approach was instrumental in the appeal of the Dark Knight trilogy, and as it provided a compelling narrative for both Bruce Wayne and Batman. And I don't want to pass this, and then I don't want to talk out to Scopes and make this way. I guess you don't want to, instead of a sidekick, Robin is Batman's successor. Despite some viewers finding Christopher Nolan's portrayal of Robin in the Dark Knight trilogy as a missed opportunity, it was nonetheless one of his most distinctive and bold decisions. In The Dark Knight Rises, Batman collaborates with GCPD detective John Blake, who is unveiled at the film's conclusion to be Robin. The ending suggests that Robin will carry on Bruce Wayne's legacy as Batman, unearthing the Batcave and stepping into the role of his natural successor. The trilogy doesn't depict Blake as Batman's sidekick throughout its narrative. Instead, it presents him as a potential successor to Batman, offering a unique twist in the adaptation of this renowned character. Some viewers criticize this decision as a misstep, but it's an innovative approach that sets Nolan's trilogy apart from other Batman films. I think that really doesn't capture that right of the Aben. It does do things to kind of live there, but having Bruce Wayne do as much good as Batman was a bold choice. The Dark Knight trilogy not only delved into Batman being an expression of Bruce Wayne's character rather than a separate persona, but it also gave a distinctive twist to our billionaire protagonist. Unlike most Batman tales where the hero symbolizes Wayne's anger over his failed efforts to save Gotham through legal means, Nolan had Wayne achieve as much change in Gotham as his alter ego Batman. By the conclusion of the trilogy, Bruce Wayne has solidified his own impact on Gotham City. In the trilogy, Bruce chooses to disassociate his benevolent actions from Batman by transforming Wayne Manor into the Thomas and Martha Wayne Home for Children. This is an aspect not commonly seen in other Batman narratives, but one that Nolan's trilogy emphasizes, showcasing Bruce Wayne as a character beyond just his superhero persona. But I think that everyone is that it really the depth of Nolan's vision remains unique, and the depth and realism in Nolan's trilogy is truly outstanding. It seems that Chris Nolan had a rich and powerful vision for his Batman series, which is evident in every frame, location, and character within the trilogy. However, it's not simply a faithful adaptation of the original stories, but rather a fresh take on the entire Batman saga, something never before achieved. So through a fresh take on Batman, making him more authentic and tangible, Nolan meticulously enhanced aspects of the character and his environment, and everything in Nolan's Gotham feels entirely possible, offering a level of realism that many other Batman narratives find hard to match. Or the innovation of Nolan's concept is something that may never be surpassed, as later versions of Batman have endeavored to replicate some of the grit and authenticity found in Nolan's world, giving Batman an unusual, happy ending. The Dark Knight Rises happy ending is a Batman rarity. In general conversation, one could say The Dark Knight Rises is typically viewed as the least favorable among Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, and yet it delivers a satisfying conclusion to the hero's tale, offering a convincing ending that feels exceptionally rewarding in its finality. After rescuing Gotham from the League of Shadows plot to destroy the city, it appears that Batman sacrifices himself in a heroic act. However, it turns out that he orchestrated his own death, with Bruce Wayne choosing to live incognito alongside Catwoman. In Nolan's trilogy, Bruce Wayne receives an extraordinary conclusion, unlike most Batman tales. Usually, the Batman character continues fighting into old age, grooming a new group of heroes to safeguard Gotham while he steps aside. Uh, However, unlike many other Batman narratives that rarely explore a happy and conclusive ending for Bruce Wayne, Nolan's trilogy does so in an uncommon manner. And then talk about a lot of other civil stuff that work in added to that content, and then maybe where you work. No other director has successfully made 3 Batman movies. One unique aspect about Christopher Nolan compared to other filmmakers who have depicted Batman is his completion of the planned Batman trilogy. Essentially, Nolan is the sole director to have successfully concluded this trilogy, creating a compelling 3-movie narrative that stands on its own merit, distinct from other films and franchises, and consequently, the trilogy can be regarded as a rare gem in the vast world of Batman media. Tim Burton's efforts to create a trilogy came to an end when the studio canceled his proposed 3rd movie titled Chris. Similarly, Joel Schumacher departed from the character following only 2 films due to their unfavorable reviews. In contrast, Christopher Nolan managed to finish his 3rd Batman film, making the trilogy stand out as unique during Batman's cinematic career.